Alrighty, it's time for the next day. This is day 4. Yes. This is welcome back. Hello, hi. How's it going? This is the 4th of June. Nikko, the temples. I believe this might all be one video again, but if not, then we might get to the snow monkeys as well. If not, that will be the next video. I'm trying to combine some of these together for both a lack of footage and through not many detailed events. So let's see how it goes. Began the day with a train and bullet train, so a local train, then a bullet train which is known as a Shinjuku, or at least that's the kind of port that you go through to get the faster trains. And we went to Nikko. Got a Nikko stamp there. Just pardon my horrible handwriting. At the same time, I was writing some of this on the train. So yeah. We travelled the small streets of the town until we hit the Shinjuku Bridge. Yes, I'm trying to remember the days as they happened. So it was a lot of small streets. Got to the no, it's not Shinjuku. Sorry, Shinkyo Bridge. Again, I'm not going to say a lot of this stuff correctly. I'm doing my best. Which is a very old bridge. It's a sacred bridge, actually, but it's not crossable. Like, you can't, it's too steep to cross at the end, but you can go on it if you pay a fare, and we did not want to, and there was some girls dressed up as, in kimonos. I was going to say dressed up as geishas, but you actually get a feeling that there's a lot of people who dress up, especially women, who dress up in kimonos, but aren't actually geishas, which you can usually tell because they're mostly tourists. Now, they could still be Asian, or Japanese in particular, but for the most part, they don't have the special hairdo, they don't have the white makeup. It's very rare to see a geisha on the street. I never did. Dad apparently did on his previous trip. He saw 2 geishas going shopping because that's all they can do in their free time. If you want to know more about geishas, I'm getting there, actually. We've got in a few days' time, we go to a geisha night. So that'll be its own special video with a whole bunch of interviews and videos with the geisha. It is extraordinary. So for now, let's keep going on with Nikko. So, of course, got my footage of the bridge with some girls in the kimonos there, which was really nice. They were actually taking a whole bunch of photos with each other there. A lot of tourists do that, where they dress up in the kimonos or traditional Japanese gowns and whatever, and take pictures with each other or take pictures of themselves. It's quite nice, actually. And it's not really like an insult on their culture at all. It's actually, they take a lot of pride in it. Like me wearing a Godzilla shirt around there, they're like, "Oh, Godzilla! You like Godzilla? That's so cool!" You know, they like that stuff. I had a Spider-Man shirt on, and one of the women there was like, "Spider-Man, look!" Like, she pointed to a customer and like got her colleague's attention and was like, "Look, he's got Spider-Man." See, they just like these characters. It's weird. It's cool. It's weird, but it's cool. Yeah, so we took a hike down a pathway and saw a very rapid river, but beautiful mountains with very thick, dense trees and forest, to a staircase that led to Rinnoji Temple. There was unfortunately no photography. You couldn't take photos inside, but we did get a booklet that actually showed you what was inside. But inside, for those wondering, I guess I might have Google images and stuff on screen, I don't know. They were very old statues because it's still a practicing temple. You can't go in and take photography, but you can pay to go in and look around the place. There was actually inside there was a little donation box where you could get a wish, which I did, and it was a kind of golden hammer mallet thing, which if you put on your purse or in your wallet, and I had the money purse, so I put it in there, you'd get, it was like, wishes for more money and stuff, which that bag got filled up quite a bit over and over again. So I guess it kind of works, but not really. It's kind of yeah. But I was donating to the place, and it was under reconstruction as well, so I didn't mind. It's only like 200 yen, so it was $2 Australian, pretty much. But they had 3 6-meter tall golden Buddhas. The one, I can't remember what all of them were called because they had extra statues and stuff that were all original. I think the golden Buddhas were all original too, with all these like golden leaves on the base of them. One of them was like a evil like one that had 3 heads, and it was really weird. There was one with 1,000 arms, which had a different ornament on each arm, and there was one just regularly in the middle. And that was just in one pathway. You had all 3 of them. It was kind of spooky. It is 3 giant people looking at you. It's kind of weird, but that is cool. The path continued, and wow, I don't even know how I wrote that. The path continued to we continued up the great path of gravel and trees. Okay, so I'm going to say, I don't know what the hell happened there. The path continued outside and to a very long gravel pathway, which I believe I have footage of, which led to a great gate. And it actually was a sign that it said, like, oh, from this point onwards, all the way to the the Great Temple, it's as long meter wise as Tokyo Skytree, which is like 630 meters or something, which is kind of amusing. I did wonder where the elevator was. Yes. So yeah, we got to the temple, which was actually the gate for the Toshogu Shrine. I feel bad at pronouncing these things. It's only going to get worse. The shrine featured many buildings with greatly detailed carvings, including the monkey house, which had the classic three monkeys one, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil one. And of course, they merchandised the crap out of this stuff. The shrine itself had dragons and tigers and people all throughout it. It was so immensely dense of just carvings and designs. I tried to get as much footage as I could. Conveniently, my camera was able to zoom in on the very intricate details, which was very nice, because there's a lot you couldn't see just by looking at it, because it was like such a mirage of stuff. It was all blurred together, but it was so beautiful, and there was so many of these buildings were so designed like this. It was incredible, and some of these are for highly religious figures, like because of course most of them are all burials for them, or they're burials for shoguns and all kinds of things, and all kinds of people. Because these temples are usually where people get buried. Big, famous, or like really important people get buried, that is. As we circled the shrine, getting closer to the grave, it began to rain, but it was only because we were actually in a bit of a cloud when we were up there, which is interesting. And it was all isolated for the shogun's tomb that we were to look at, which is rather nice. Again, it was just a burial mound with the grave was obviously somewhere inside it, but it has never been opened, which is fine. I mean, I don't really want to see a dead guy anyway. I've already been to Egypt. We then proceeded to walk barefoot in the temple, because they have a thing where they don't want you to carry dirt inside, so they can, keep it clean and stuff. So you take off your shoes. I think we may have been wearing sandals on the day. I cannot recall. Some days were sandals, some days were runners. Mostly depending on the humidity and stuff like that. So we took off our shoes. I think we were in shoes, and we took them off and we were in socks. And we walked throughout the temple, past the really detailed gate with the dragons and stuff, and got to see inside. And there was a group of people who were there who were praying, with a Japanese dude who was actually explaining everything, and they did the whole prayer thing. Then they all walked through and left. So we walked in, but we didn't want to pray or anything because we didn't really understand it. So we were just there to be tourists, which is fine. We went in, we saw that big room, went into the smaller room behind it, which had all the decorations and stuff, and then we left that building. So that was quite nice. There was also a thing for a sleeping cat that was there. That was on the way to the Shogun's tomb. I bought a little sleeping cat keychain for luck. I think it was for luck or something for Katie, because I know she likes cats. So, and it had a bell on it. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, every element was strongly detailed. The images on the roof and even the special chamber that seemed like a throne room. It could have been, most likely. We proceeded past the third temple, the Rat Temple, I believe it was, because we didn't really care to look inside it. You had to pay to get in. We were just like, So instead we got to the final temple, which isn't actually as popular tourist-wise, because again, there were a lot of school kids there, not just because they were there for fun, but there were school trips and tours and stuff, and of course there were a lot of tours for English people, for other Asian people, there were still Japanese tours and there were Chinese tours as well. You could usually always tell the difference, but yeah. But it was interesting seeing all the different kind of tour groups that were there, and the people who were just there by themselves. So the Futurasan ginger, the Futuras, I don't know how to pronounce that. Futurasan ginger, put up on screen, me. Featured an elaborate stone gate, so this was probably the temple. More carvings and a room inside. A room inside the temple that held a. So there's in the room inside again. Took off shoes, went inside. There was a samurai armor in a glass case and a golden arrow where you could actually buy the golden arrow. It's like, it's for good luck. It's totally not a scam. You know, prayers and stuff. Yeah. Stairs again. Sweet merciful Jesus. It's not as detailed as the white one, but bloody hell. What's with all the angry red dudes? It's a Japanese Hulk.
See Janet, this out here.
Ay, mira, que no quiero huellas. Todos los que me cogéis infragantes.
No steps. So from this we went back to the town through another really big gate, which apparently was actually the biggest gate there, in that particular town, and most people didn't even notice it, I will be honest. But then we went back to the town, which was really nice, and I just realized there's going to be a lot of footage playing on top of this, so sometimes I'll be cutting myself out, so if the audio sounds weird, because I'm just keep rambling, because half the time I don't remember what I filmed, and how much of it I filmed, so I apologize if there seems to be some kind of discontinuity, like weird cuts with the audio. So from this we went back to town, I bought myself a latte of iced Georgia coffee from a vending machine. A lot of vending machines there. It's very nice. And we also bought a mud cake, like a chocolate cake, from the store. We caught a public bus to the Kegon Falls, just as it was starting to rain. And that took about maybe half an hour. Went up a lot of winding roads, because this is a one-way up, one-way down kind of thing. You could, of course, there was a bus stop. The bus went up to a sky rail, which you could take the sky rail up to the waterfall, but we decided to just keep going on the bus because it was like just an extra $1 or so. So we got off the bus, we walked to the falls, we took some video footage, and here it is. It was quite beautiful, and made up for the fact that the next week we were meant to go to another waterfall, which I didn't actually know, and we saw this one instead. We just did this out of spontaneity, and it was really nice. Be falling. Look at that. yeah, it was a really nice waterfall. And we sat down and we had our lunch, which was a whole bunch of chocolates, and the cake. So obviously very, very healthy, 10 out of 10. But it was really nice, actually. We concluded the trip with a bus going down, which we actually went to the bus stop and we were like, which bus are we meant to take? And we went to a bus that was sitting there, and we knocked on the door, and the guy said to come around. So we went around to the window, and he opened it up, and we're like, which bus down to the train station? And it's like, over there, platform 29. And because it was a big, open, gravelly center. And we just went over to the bus stop. We sat there for about 20 minutes, just went on the internet, whatever. And then that guy who we talked to started up his bus, drove around, and picked us up. Same bus driver. Nice guy. Very good driver, given that, showing probably footage now, going down that whole fucking mountain, winding ass roads, and I didn't get sick at all. I made a joke on Facebook that I'd gotten sick, because it was like, throwing up emoji. But beautiful views. Incredibly dense roads. Very, very tricky. The bus driver would stop half the time, so he would be able to let through other cars that were behind him, because of course the bus is bigger and he has to take more precaution with it, especially because there's much more people and no seatbelts. And so sometimes he would stop and let other people drive past, which is very nice of him. We then passed through that hellish road and took a train back to Ikebukuro, where we went for tea. So in this case, we went for dinner. Sorry, a bit of a poshness coming out of me. I had a bowl of pork ramen in a local restaurant. So we went to a side street and very, very close to our ryokan, and it was like a mini Tokyo. It was just like it was so beautiful, the streets, and so dense, and also kind of like dodgy as hell. Like, there were so many people that were just a group of dudes who would just stand in the middle at the end of a road or whatever, and you'd just be like, is this the mob? Like, what is happening? And it was just it seemed kind of dodgy, but then there was a lot of nice stores there as well. We just went into one that looked like a local place. You went in, you bought from a vending machine, you literally just typed in, put in your cash, pressed on one of the things, and a receipt would come out. And we got a seat. We were waiting for 2 seats to open because everyone very split up. Between every empty stall would be a person and another empty stall. But a guy was nice enough to move across, which is good. It's like people really like their personal space. It's very interesting. But yeah, so then we ate the ramen and it was beautiful. It was very strange to eat because I'm like, do I slurp this up and make it as messy as possible, or do I just eat it next to the bowl? And Dad was like, no, they want you to be as not exactly as messy as possible, but it's kind of more respectful in a way to just eat it, slurp it, doesn't matter. You're eating their food, you're showing that you're loving it, and that's usually how they eat it quite quickly too. Especially using chopsticks, which I used chopsticks the whole time. I never really had to use a fork. Even when we stayed at my cousin's place, I decided to, I think I used a fork maybe for one of the desserts, but for the most part, it was just, I'm going to use chopsticks, especially because I was eating sushi at my cousin's place, but that's later in the trip. But yes, it was very fun, and then we, after the ramen, went back to the ryokan. Yeah. So the second day, oofed. Yeah, let's combine this. June 5th. Again, so I'm going to record an outro here, but it doesn't matter if I cut it out in post. So this has been the next day. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to start filming the Snow Monkeys episode, hopefully without getting disturbed by anyone arriving home. So yeah, next episode, we're talking about the Snow Monkeys and Matsumoto. See you then. Thanks for watching.